What is good, everybody? Welcome into the Bluebloods official podcast of FCS Football Central on SI. I'm your host, Zach McKinnell, joined today by a very, very special guest, man. My guy, Mike Smith Jr., former Eastern Kentucky defensive back, current Dallas Cowboys safety, just signed a UDFA with the Cowboys right after the 2025 NFL draft this past weekend, man. Mike, how we feeling, man? Congrats on the big deal. Headed to the NFL now, man.
Man, feeling good. It's always a dream come true. I've been hoping for this, since, working for this since I was a little kid. I've been writing piece of paper. I was been NFL players since I was a little kid. So, man, it's just a dream come true for real. I'm just trying to take everything in.
Man, before we get into your EKU career, man, which was storied, finished with an All-American honor, helped lead EKU to the playoffs multiple times, I want to talk about just the draft process, man. A lot of people aren't familiar, right? Sometimes it's better to be a UDFA to then get selected in the sixth, seventh round, get to choose your option, negotiate a really good deal. Talk about the process, man. The draft is ending late seventh round. The draft ends. How quick was the contract signed, or just for people who have never been there, what was that experience like for you after the draft?
Well, so like you said, you made a good point. The 6, 7 round, you know what I'm saying. That's when you get selected. But like sometimes being a free agent is like the best thing to do. So how my thing kind of played out, I think the Jaguars had told my agent like I was in the mix, you know what I'm saying? Like for one of their picks, I want to say it was late sixth or early seventh, and I was just watching the drive, but they ended up taking another safety from Navy, his name like Rayon Lane or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So they end up taking him, and then so I'm like, damn, I'm telling my agent like, damn, like I thought that was gonna be me, you feel what I'm saying? But it's all good, you feel what I'm saying? Like Bro got his blessing. So so really, so around that time, the 7th round had done what came come around. Then I want to say, my agent was in contact. I had a lot of like, like free, like a lot of teams hit my agent phone because they just wasn't like taking no more safeties or whatever. So, just in the 7th round, I want to say the Cowboys. I want to say I had just locked in with the Giants or something like with a free agent deal. But like right after that, the Cowboys called my agent and they was like, hey man, we want to take Mike for such and such, you know what I'm saying? So my agent just locked in because like it was just a better deal. So I really got signed. I ain't gonna lie, like in the middle of the drive, like middle of the 7th round, like the drive was still going on when I had already locked in with the Cowboys. So I already knew I was going. So it kind of felt like I got drafted, but I just didn't get my name called. But it's all good.
Man, talk just a little bit about that feeling, man. When you got that phone call from the Cowboys, everything's official, everything's on paper, man. And you just kind of got to look around and just kind of realize, man, we're going from EKU to America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, and that dream of making it to the NFL was
Right.
fully realized.
Man, so when I got the car, I was around like my family, some of my homeboys and stuff like that. So, matter of fact, my family didn't even know I had to walk outside because I realized I'm like, damn, bro, I might not get dry. So I had walked outside with my homeboys, you know what I'm saying? Just like get some fresh air, like just to relieve all stress. And I had got the phone call, you know what I'm saying? Once I got it though, just hearing the coach, hey Mike, this coach such from the Dallas Cowboys, like that, it would just like kind of open your eyes for real, like this real life now, you know what I'm saying? Like I have officially done made it, you know what I'm saying, and just all the hard work, that I'm been going through, just the tough times, just being FCS, you know what I'm saying, just the tough road, just everything, it just kind of just come to the front, like man, like God got me at the end of the day, everything worked out.
Man, EKU has kind of had a handful of guys these past few years make it to the league now, man. You joined that group. Talk a
Yes,
little
sir.
bit about the development at EKU and this coaching staff, Coach Wells, and what everything they do to put you guys in the best positions to succeed and make it to the next level.
One thing about my coaches, like they always, be real with me. You know what I'm saying. One thing about it, me and Coach was always had like a good relationship. You know what I'm saying. Like even when I first got there, so our relationship kind of started off like we used to get into it because I used to be at practice, like very competitive, like and my coach is like an offensive mind coach, so I used to be talking trash to offense and all that at practice. Then he used to come at me, at practice like he used to make like our quarterback he used to like, all right, we finna design this play to beat Mike type jump. So it just kind of started off like that, and like all that just make you better, at the end of the day, because we all competing. You know what I'm saying? My first coach when I got there, my safety coach was Coach Mike Dietz. He was always invested into me. You know what I'm saying? He always believed in me. He was kind of like when the season first started, it was like my first time really getting real in the game for real my sophomore year. So he kind of was throwing me out there for some plays, and then I didn't get my first start until homecoming my sophomore year, which was like the fifth game of the season. I caught a pick homecoming, and it was history after that. And my coaches just invested in me the whole time, and then like I can say like throughout every year, you know how some guys like when they start, they come back, you know, like they just think everything already laid out for them. Like, I always had to compete, you know, every camp. The most I probably did compete was this my last following year after my junior year, but after my sophomore year, I thought, oh yeah, I got this, you know, I got the job. Ooh, ooh. Nah, I was competing all camp, you know what I'm saying, from a job. So all that, you know, just develop a player and just keep that fire up on the player and just keep that competitive attribute by the player, which is very
Yeah,
good.
I mean, you transferred in from App State, man. You really had that breakout year in 2023 and really put it all together last season, earning FCS All-American honors, first team All-Conference, all that. But the team itself took a big turn right early in the season, man. It was tough, a lot of close losses. You guys were trending in the wrong direction. Then all of a sudden, man, you guys got really hot, made that run to the FCS playoffs. What was the difference between the second half of the year compared to the first half of the year last season at EKU, just in your opinion?
So the first half of the year, you know, we kind of got hit with two heavy hitters. You know, we played two FBS opponents. Like first two games, you know what I'm saying. Like I'm not gonna say like that we wasn't ready, but in a way like we wasn't ready for real. Like we wasn't ready for that. Especially Mississippi State, they had a brand new team. We couldn't watch no film and no. So we got beat by them over there. We was putting up a good fight against West Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? I think it down there was like 10-0 in the third quarter. You know what I'm saying? So our defense is playing good. So really. I think what really it was, we started having like player meetings, like player only meetings, like throughout the season, and we just got to a point like, man, like we could do this, y'all boys, like we got to lock in for real. So I think once we really did that, I think like right before that we had played Tarleton, and Tarleton was ranked. We was an underdog coming. I think we had just came off a loss, so we had just I forgot who we had played before Tarleton, but Tarleton was ranked. You know what I'm saying? It was on the road. Like once we beat Tarleton, like, I think that was like the spark of our little role. You know what I'm saying? Because like after we had the conversation, then we really did it, and then everybody was on the same page. Then everybody was just gelling for real, and then we was just making it happen for real.
When you look at your first year at App State compared to where you are now going to the NFL, what do you think is the single biggest development that you've seen in your game from freshman year to now?
So my freshman year coming to college, like leaving high school, the high school that I was at, you know, I went to First Coast High School, you know what I'm saying? I'm from Jacksonville, so everything was just like very competitive, and it was like really like man to man type of stuff. So I don't think my IQ was that high, you know, coming in my freshman year. You know, I feel like over time, you know, from my freshman year, like compared to now, like my IQ was just way higher. So I just kind of had to learn the game and just understand why things happen and the way they happen, and just understand the defense, understand everybody's responsibilities, and you know, like once you know that, then you can just play faster, and then you start making decisions, you know, based off what you see, and then you just start trusting yourself more. So I'll for sure say my IQ has really really grown from my freshman year to my senior year because I always had the athletic ability. I just had to learn mentally about the game.
You were on every postseason all-star list. You were on the Senior Bowl watch list, East-West Shrine Bowl. You end up going to the Shrine Bowl. Talk a little bit about that experience and how instrumental that was getting you in front of NFL scouts and you making your mark, man. You had multiple highlight plays. You were all over the one-on-ones. How big was that, in your opinion, on getting you on the radar for the NFL?
It was the Shrine Bowl was a very very big, like a very very big step, you know, in my path to the draft. You know what I'm saying? I really think Eric Gacko, you know, like that's my guy. That's the director of the Shrine Bowl. You know, like that's my guy for real. So it's like, man, just being there, you know, just going to practice, you know, just getting coached by NFL coaches, you know, just coming to practice and just seeing just this like the practice facility just like filled with coaches everywhere. I'm talking about like you could it wasn't nowhere to stand enough for real. It was just like it was just crazy for real. And I just knew like me coming from EKU, I knew like you feel me, like a lot like some people probably ain't know me, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people probably ain't know me for real. So I knew my main goal coming to that game was just to make a mark and just to let like put the world on notice for real for real.
I mean, it's just kind of funny now that that was in Dallas. Now you're headed back to Dallas now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it kind of came full circle for you, man, because
All right.
there's a lot of talk, right? And as FCS media, we try to fight against it that you can make it to the NFL from FCS. A lot of guys feel like they have to transfer. The FCS had almost as many draft picks as the G5. Talk a little bit about your decision to stay at EKU, man, because I know there had to be teams recruiting you to come back to the G5 or even P4 level. How important was it for you to get there from EKU?
It was actually like, man, I just feel like it was my destiny for real, like for me to make it out of Eastern Kentucky because, like I said, yeah, I definitely could have left after my junior year. You know, I had teams contacting me, you know, through the grapevine, you know, like just through other people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just my whole point of really saying, like, and then you got to think like people before me, I was seeing them go to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? And I just always had the mindset. Like I just always wanted to put East Kentucky on the map. Like I just wanted to be one of the guys that, like that put us on the map. Like it's nothing easy about it neither. Like the road never been easy. And like I always had that route. Like I was a 3-star in high school. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get to go to Bama, LSU, none of that. I was always feel like I was the underdog. So me just always feel like I was an underdog playing on the tip of my shoulder. Like that always been my game. You know what I'm saying? So man, it was just meant to be for real, for real. FCS for sure.
What would your advice be to younger prospects coming up through the FCS on just if you just had to give your biggest piece of advice to guys who are about to go through the draft process, what would that be for FCS guys?
Man, standing out like just like you cannot be regular because when you FCS, they already put it over your head that you FCS. You know what I'm saying? And also like if your team is playing, big schools, like you have to perform, you have to show up because when those coaches and those higher level coaches watch your film, the only film they really watching is you against the Power Fives or whoever the Power Fours or whatever, because that's like the closest thing they can get to you, like in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was having Zoom meetings with coaches and stuff like that, they was pulling on Mississippi State film, Western Kentucky film. You know what I'm saying? And I made some plays those games, so really just making plays against those big opponents. And just outshining all the comp in FCS because you really have to make it seem like that you're not supposed to be there because like a lot of people not supposed to be there, but they're there. So you have to really show that you're not supposed to be there.
For your position at the next level, man, do you feel like you're versatile enough to play everywhere in the secondary, or is there a spot where you feel most comfortable in the secondary going to the Cowboys?
Going to the Cowboys, I feel like I'm for sure gonna play both safeties, and I can also play like that nickel safety, like down, guard slot. Cause I did that a lot last year. Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely gonna be moving around, playing both safeties, like playing the nickel safety, playing the box safety, the down safety. You know what I'm saying? So I'm for sure versatile. 'Cause I played all those positions last year.
You also could probably take a big role on special teams, I'm assuming too,
Oh no,
kickoff,
yeah,
punt.
yeah, for sure. Like special teams is where I'm gonna make my money. Coming in as an FCS guy, undrafted free agent. Special teams for sure. I'm definitely make my money on special teams for sure.
You have a lot of former teammates, like we talked about earlier, in the league, and you probably even know some guys that you play with at App State in the league as well. How much advice have you gotten from those guys, and have you reached out to anybody to get some advice before we get into camps and things like that at the next level?
Oh yeah, so I have talked to a lot of league guys. You know what I'm saying? Shamari Connor, he's from Jacksonville, but we have the same trainer down here. He played for the Chiefs right now, nickel number 27. I always talk to him, chop it up. I was just working out with him the other day, so I was just picking his head about camp, about the drive. This was before the drive, just all about the drive, all the visits and all the talks and stuff like that. Like I always, like get information from guys who are already in it because they was in it before me. You know what I'm saying? So any questions I have, I always ask. Like man, how was your agent talking around this time? Like how did teams talk to you? Like when they wanted you, do like you know what I'm saying? So it's always good to reach out to somebody who already done did it.
Man, so quick hitters here, man, as we wrap up the interview, just some more fun, kind of get to know you questions, man. You're now in the NFL. Is there a current or even former NFL player that you feel like your game models the most?
That's a good question. So that's a good question. I used to really look up to Jalen Ramsey a lot, especially like around his safety days. You know what I'm saying? Just like the aggression that he had and like just how hard he played. You know what I'm saying? Him talking trash stuff like that. Like, I just love that because like that's how I play. So currently, right now, though in the league, a safety. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's
I like the Jalen Ramsey one. As a Dolphins fan, like that's my
yeah,
guy. I liked him coming out of college too. So I like that
yeah,
comparison because a lot of people forget the safety days for Jalen Ramsey. Like they just
yeah.
think of him as like the shutdown corner. He was a monster at safety when he played there.
Yeah, and he played nickel. He played nickel a lot. He'll come down, guard the slide, he'll blitz off the edge. Sometimes the Rams had him playing everything for real. So yeah, I say Jalen Ramsey for real.
Looking back to EKU and even App State, what was your welcome to college moment out of high school where you were like, "Man, this is different. I gotta take my game to the next level here." You got me on this one, but it ain't gonna happen again.
So my first ever college game was playing Charlotte at App State. Was playing Charlotte. It was COVID. Yeah, there wasn't really nobody in the crowd because the COVID. So now I was on kickoff. It was my first time ever touching the grass like in college. First game ever. I ran down. They had me as an R1, which is like the safety, like the last guy on the kickoff. And I was just supposed to stay behind everybody. But in practice, I never practiced it. Shamar Jean Charles was the R1, and I was like my big homie. Like when I got to school, he took me on his wing. So I'm like, Big Real, put me in the game. I'm trying to get a snap. So he threw me in there. Imagine I ain't never practiced this for real. So my coach like, you good? Might just say like just be the last man back. So we run down on kickoff. We running down. I kind of stay behind everybody a little bit. I stay behind everybody a little bit. I see the guy from Charlotte catch the ball. He shook like four people. I'm like, oh my god. So I ran like and tried to tackle him. Man, I look up. It's a huge wall. Just a Charlotte players. Like he went around them, shot down the sideline, like scored. I promise you, he scored. He scored a touchdown. I got back to the sideline. Goes like, who the fuck is our R1? I'm quiet. Like, I ain't sitting. I'm like, that was me, man. Listen here, man. I got cussed out so bad in meetings, but like, they had to bear with me though, because it was my first time playing it. But I ain't gonna lie, I was back on kickoff. Like I want to say like a couple games later, or maybe the next game. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted the R1 no more. Though. I was like the R2. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy, bro. First play in, they scored on me like on some crazy junk.
Oh, man, as an O lineman, I played O line. I never had to worry about special teams. That
Yeah.
sounds like nightmare, man. That sounds like a nightmare. I already know the answer to this, man. Listen, my family's from Tampa, so
Mm,
anytime I got someone from Florida on here, I never have to ask if they talk trash. The
yeah.
question then becomes, did anyone at EKU were they able to match your trash talk in practice?
Yeah, but it was another Florida boy for sure. Like it was another Florida boy. So my junior year, it was this guy named we called him C Mac. He came from Georgia State. He from Broward County. So we used to be at practice going at it every day, like talking trash every day. I used to be guarding him every day. So I'll say him for sure. Like he for sure like match me talking shit for sure. It was him.
Hey, if you're from Florida, there's no like. Listen, I don't think anybody like any kids at any other high school. They don't understand what it's like to play high school ball in Florida.
Yeah,
They
that's
they
different, man. That's different.
they don't get it, especially for, like, South Florida too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they don't get how different it is out there, man. One-on-one, man, I know you play a lot of safety, but just if you're a
Mhm.
nickel in the slot, what's the number one mistake a wide receiver can make against you?
Number one state, number one mistake wide receiver can make against me. Uh, Let me put my hands on them. That's over with. Like, as a slot, like you should not let the slot safety or whoever guarding you like put your hand like they shouldn't even be able to touch you for real. So if I get my hands on you, I'm controlling your route, I'm controlling your pace, I'm controlling you. So that'd be the worst decision ever, and it happens. So you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a good football player just like everybody else. So you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna happen sometime, and when it do happen, like that's a huge mistake, and it's a win on my end majority of the time.
Who are one or two of the best FCS players you ever went one-on-one against while you were at EKU?
That's a good question. So I was playing safety. So one on one, I feel like the best players that we played, they was playing out wide receiver. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, you gotta know that receiver. That receiver from Tarleton,
Oh,
n-
Darius?
number 6.
Yeah, Darius Cooper. Oh, yeah, he's a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he nice. He nice. I feel like in the FCS, if I can name one more person, they're probably the best. Um, that's a good question. I don't know, man. For real, for real. Really,
Oh,
really like the outright receivers. I know I had to guard Barry on from Kentucky, but he not FCS.
yeah.
But I know when we played Kentucky, like when I was in the slot with him, like that was some work for sure.
I know Jaden probably was tough in practice. Jaden Higgins, who
Oh
transferred to
yeah,
Iowa State.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
nice. He's gonna be good.
You
And
know, Jaden Smith that played for us. He
yes,
had number 3.
yep. He
Yeah,
just
that's the toughest slot I had to go. I used to go with him every day in practice. Like and he had routes. Like he had routes for days. So you feel me? Going against him, I think that's why I can't really name nobody else from FCS because I was guarding him at practice every day. So it's like when I seen
mm.
other people, I wasn't really worried about him for real.
Yeah, no, he was nice. It's funny enough, Darius actually signed with the Eagles, so y'all might get to see each other
Oh yeah,
in
yeah,
some
yeah.
division games. So man, shout out to Darius too, man. A guy who I both of y'all, man, great prospects, man. The last question here: what's next for you? For people who don't really know, when do you get to camp, man, and how motivated are you going to be to not just make the team, man, but make that active roster in the next coming months here?
That's actually major, like major for me to do. Like I'm gonna be weird, like very, very, very fired up for camp. You know, I'm just gonna be playing like how I've been playing. You know what I'm saying? But with even more enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? Just eat like even more. You know what I'm saying? Because in the league, they want to see you flying around. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't paying you all that money for no reason. So, and my biggest fear, you know, is just to be an NFL bust. You know, like get to the NFL and not maintain it. So I'm just gonna do everything that I can possibly. You know, to always create value for myself. So it's gonna be a big, you know, like couple next months. You know, I won't say I'm really nervous about it, like just a little anxious. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's football. You know what I'm saying? And God has implanted in me like what I needed, all my tools and everything. So I'm just gonna make sure I get around the right people. You know, get around the right, you know, older people. You know, so they can milk the game to me. You know what I'm saying? On a professional level, and everything else gonna work out for itself. Everything gonna be good for sure.
And the last quick question, man. I know you want to
Uh-huh.
keep number two. If we
Mhm.
can't go two, what's the number?
All right, so I'll for sure get in that 2-4 because I had 2-4 my sophomore and my junior year. Cause that 2-4 put me on the map in college. I'll go 2-4, and once like I get established for real, I'm gonna go back to that four, that number four. I had number four at the Shrine Bowl.
Man, I love it, man. Well, dude, congratulations, man, Mike. It's always great, man, to see FCS guys go to the next level and make a name for themselves. Real quick, man, where can people follow your NFL journey, man? Social media, anything you want to plug, man, this time is yours.
So my Instagram underscore the real 2.0. My Twitter right there on the handle right here underscore Mike Smith 04. And those really the two main social medias I be on. I don't be posting like that, but when I do post, like just know it's going like it's something. I'm posting like a picture, posting like me working out or something. I don't really be posting like that, but that's what people can follow me at, you know, to keep up with me for sure.
Mike, man, I appreciate you again, man. Guys, make sure to go follow Mike on all social media, man. Future Dallas Cowboys star right here. But for myself, for Mike, for Eastern Kentucky, the Dallas Cowboys, the Blue Bloods, FCS football, all as of, we are out for right now.